Duchamp, known by many for his famous urinal, aka the fountain. A later copy can be found, but not used, in the Tate Modern, London. It is signed, Armut. Duchamp, known by a few as the most important conceptual artist of the 20th century, who gave the Mona Lisa a moustache. Duchamp, known by just a couple as a master chess player, representing the French national team at the Chess Olympiad in 1925. Duchamp, known just by a very few people as a professional librarian at the beautiful Sainte Geneviève Library, in Paris. Duchamp, son of a successful all-round accountant, a notary who had taught his children the basic rules of chess. Duchamp, whose brothers and sisters were also artists. Duchamp, who abandoned art at the end of his career, to play full-time chess. Many people presume Dada was just a bunch of chaotic nonsense, a reaction, or they see it as a metaphor of the First Worldwide Act of War. Well, think again. If you listen and watch very carefully, you will find more, much more about Dada. Dada was a carefully played and orchestrated game of hypermodern art chess, involving tactics and subconscious logic. Marcel Duchamp, an artist who never settled on one style, on one taste, on one position, who never repeated the same moves, was one of the key players, involved in the creative explosion of the Dadaist, an art movement founded around 1915, in Zurich, Switzerland. Duchamp expanded the basic rules of Dada, and brought the ideas, across the ocean, to the States. 50 years after his death, Marcel's influence is still immense. Thousands of other artists replayed, some in a very successful way, the moves he defined as art game theory. Before Dada was born, Duchamp was shortly involved with the popular movement of his times, Impressionism. After Dada, Duchamp was, also shortly, involved with Cubism, Futurism, Surrealism, and Constructivism. Duchamp, thereafter, defined conceptual art as we know today. Most contemporary artists play along the basic lines Duchamp lay out. Artists know how to play this game, some even know why they play it, but few understand its process, the mechanics of Dada, creativity. Actually, most people believe there are no mechanics involved, that the creative act is just a dance, a sequence of events, of accidents. I join the scientific corner in this case and challenge the above assumption. Daniel Dennett, not an artist but a key observer, wants listeners and readers to believe that he arrived at the final solution. I will admit Daniel IV came far in describing logical intelligence mechanisms, an important part of human nature and also artificial intelligence. What Dennett describes in his books, we will in the near future, define as the artificial mind, but important to state, not the human mind. His observations only describe one part of human intelligence, the conscious logical side, something computers already can replicate, and will surpass in the next 10 years. A description of the other side, assumed as the illogical unconscious mind, is left out completely. But it is exactly there, in the middle, at the exchange between the illogical logical. It's there, on the verge of chaos and order, where the true creative act takes place, in the subconscious. This is what makes us different from AI, what makes us human. In Duchamp's time, there were just a few people who grasped the mechanism of Dada. One influential, but lesser-known Dutch artist understood the mechanized process of play, which has his foundations in Dada. His name, Theo van Doesburg. Theo, not in Switzerland when Dada occurred, arrived 15 years later. He died shortly after, but not before designing his endgame, Art Concrete, a constructivist game, still very popular among conceptual artists today. But Duchamp went further, he became the grand master of art game theory. A game of chance, luck and definition. To really understand the rules of play, thus so define your own game, not only you have to master the art of creation, but also the art of subconscious thinking, so you can simultaneously play both sides. Here, Marcel's advanced chess skills, combined with his librarian knowledge, came in handy. Just like Theo, Marcel understood, there are patterns lying behind apparent nonsense. Patterns he could direct, shape and form, thus so create his own apparent nonsensical game. Marcel gradually designed his own hyper-chess art game and projected it onto art, the dawn of Duchampian chess. a game understood, replayed and expanded in multiple directions by other major players. Some examples: Rem Koolhaas, architecture; Marina Abramovich, performance; Ai Weiwei, politics; Olaf Eliasson, perception; Tracy Emin, female sexuality; Jeff Koons and Damien Hirst, media; Banksy, society. These are all deviations of Duchampian chess. So today I will let you into the rules of Duchampian chess. I will give you a peek behind the curtains, but under one condition: you have to level up with me. Cause, as you might know, everything should be made as simple as possible, but no simpler. As a futurist, I will state that the creative subconscious thinking mind will be a leading movement in the coming times. It will be the only way to continue the human process of creativity, to stay ahead, and soon after integrate with the more advanced logical thinking systems built into AI, artificial intelligence. At the end of his career, Marcel wrapped up his body of work inside one room. His room, his life story, was shown in a 30 minutes broadcast on the box, viewable in your own living room, produced by the National Broadcasting Company. Marcel's room is like many other artist rooms. The only difference with this room is, it's not a painted surface anymore. The room is made into a physical reality. As you will see, it is filled with curious-looking objects Marcel modified, invented, found, or stole Elsa throughout his life, like an ancient exotic stone sculpture. Surprisingly, in the final minutes of the show, Marcel opens up another room. A room inside a larger room, inside a constellation of rooms, the museum. This room, as tiny as a black box, a device you carry along with you. The box is filled with miniature versions of his bigger works. Everything is in there, says Marcel. This part of the video is an analysis of the 30 minutes documentary interview Marcel Duchamp made with J.J. Sweeney, the former director of the Guggenheim Museum, assisted by a couple of unknown filmmakers, all set in a room in the Philadelphia Museum of Art. To fully understand the following explanation, you'll have to do some groundwork yourself. The truth, unfortunately, is not served hot on a golden plate, nor with a silvery spoon, but can only be achieved through activating some of your own gray matter. Small correction: Duchampian chess is already outdated and replayed too many times, too often, by the people that caught the concept on time. To tell you the truth, I believe the contemporary world is stuck in a loop, replaying the final move of the Duchampian game, over and over again. It's like watching a washing machine spin, day after day. We should level up a platform, to something more advanced, something above the subset of Duchampian chess, what I call abstract reality, nested inside imaginational theory. Imagine turning around your chessboard, pieces all around. We can now start to play the more complex abstract reality, involving memory, emotion and the conscious, subconscious. I pose the following hypothesis: two data streams, the general and the personal, are intertwined in our memory and define the perception of common reality, grounded in human biology. Through overlap in both directions, a third stream is formed. Further proof will follow in a 2023 book release, Imaginational Theory. Imaginational theory will help in theoretically define the subconscious mind, and therefore better explain the mechanics of creativity. The subconscious mind should not be mistaken with the unconscious mind, automatismus, Freudian psychoanalytical approach, nor the conscious mind, logic systems, artificial intelligence approach. I will explain to you how abstract reality works. Creative subconscious thinking mechanism. I boiled it down for you into two sides, left and right, distilled into 7 key rounds, ordered in 4 levels. Short captions are added, for your understanding. The first round is, coincidentally, subtitled by Human, in Spanish. This person didn't subtitle the complete video, so for the second round I'd had to make use of the automatically generated, still with mistakes, but improving fast, spoken by AI, in English. A1, left, JJ and Marcel looking at his mechanically precise work, the chocolate grinder. A machine he saw in a window shop of his hometown, the capital of a province. Right. Marcel says the third version of the chocolate grinder chocolate factory, Zurich, is placed under his big broken glass. A2, left, JJ, you also have multiple versions of a nude ascending a chair, right, Marcel, yes, the first was shown in an exhibition. A3, left, JJ, that is a boxing match. Right, I've never used it for the glass. Link to a Russian domain, Bobby de Jonge vs Kasparov. A4, left, Marcel, the first work is this one, in the corner, the church, right, the Russian suprematist exhibition, 1915. A room with one empty chair. In the corner in the shape of a heart, the square by Malevich, all other shapes, logically placed around it. Note, in a Russian Orthodox home it is common to have an altar in the corner of the room. In dead center the crucifixion. A5, left JJ, it's a bit impressionistic. Yes. Marcel frowning. Right, Marcel, the first work is this one, still life on the easel, aka a forgotten legacy, all the other shapes, 1, 2, 3, 4, around it. 0, 1 work is not shown, called Time Memory, it logically hangs in the corridor, next to the entrance. A6, left, painting of the patient father, right, brothers and sisters playing chess in the garden. A7, left, Cézanne is the ultimate maestro, everyone ought to know that. My father, he had many children. B1, left, all your family are artists? Right, haha, yes, yes. Craftsmen, electricians, engineers, designers, 5 generations of photographers, filmmakers, painters, 2 generations of professional musicians, M with the harmonica, advertisers, a writer, a gypsy guitar and clarinet player, another guitar player, a lawyer, a politician, the architect, medical professionals, perfume makers, locksmith, social workers, an accountant, sportsman, a veterinarian, teachers, a dentist, a logistician, thinkers and even farmers. All craftsmen. B2, left, you were not in Munich, start of the degenerate show by a Hitler chocolate grinder, right, no, in Italy. I never knew anybody. Chocolate grinder. B3, left, M, a ND, 2G, J.com tilde R and P and multiple M's. Right, they were already there, 40 years before the rest, in their time. Before, left about repeating moves, and you also have multiple versions of a nude descending a staircase, right, yes, I could have made 10 of those but I only have one original, in my room. Before, left, AI, exact, exactitude, precise, right, no more relation with human craftsmanship. B5, left mind, it starts here, in the mind, right, mind versus AI, AI, what is the formula? I immediately changed the formula. B6, left, AI, a complete plan for the whole screen, right, it has the size of a television set. C1, left, about the reality of war, sound of chocolate grinder right, I decided, no more painting. C2, left, AI generated subtitles asking a question, right, after you die, you will reach the right public. C3 the dangers is to repeat yourself, how to stay beyond AI. For the ready-made is just another word for a really made, Rosebud, don't get fooled, use your own vision. C5 the ashes of data are processed in the mind, mana, disambiguation. This coincidence was auto-generated. Password was da da da. C7 to understand the process of imagination, to understand the mechanics of the mind, you have to study the work of artists. Not only through literature, but mainly through your own perception, through vision. Studying art, vision approach. D1 the third screen. D2 Mind device, on a pedestal in the back. D3 Inside your mind. Inside your phone, you will find the same data. Data on itself is meaningless, but I can already pay the Swiss dentist with pure data, iota. D4 Light record, entry, M. Talbot's first part of his book. D5 No captions. D6 Break the chocolate grinder. Challenge, Isaac Newton, world's most famous alchemist. Challenge, Banach-Tarski paradox. It is not complete, as you can see. Look closer.